All right, we are back.
Bum, 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 bum.
We got RossDuhBoss in the house. It's good
Hey,
to have you
hey,
back, bro.
hey.
That's been a minute.
Yeah, dude, I agree. It's been a while, bro. It's good to be back. It's the vacation happened. The world went to hell. Delta variant came out and apparently murdered 1 million owls in the wild habitat. So we had to come up with some new stuff for them. I went shopping once or twice. I got my website's better. My hair needs a haircut. Man, life's happened in the last since we got on together.
Life is happening. I mean, well, where'd you go on vacation?
To a lake on the East Coast somewhere. I went to a lake with my family. And we were like had a boat. We had like a dock. We had a nice house that was there that was set up. So like my mom, my brother, some cousins, and all of them got to come. We all got to hang out on the water for a week, you know. And when you have kids, it's a little different. You don't really get to like kick back and chill. It's more like you see how much good quality family time you can have. And it was great, man. I had a good time. But I've been ready to get back in the grind of things. I've been feeling like we're slacking ever since the first time I wasn't on podcast with you. I was like, I got to get back on grind.
Well, we're back in the swing. A lot has happened. Let's first talk updates on – well, let's first talk about one of the biggest stories from this week, which is we all heard what Circleback Psaki, whatever her last name is. Psaki. She said, and Joe Biden said on the exact same day that they are going to send people door to door to make sure that you have taken the vaccine.
Oh my gosh, bro.
I mean, what are your thoughts on this, RossDuhBoss?
Well, I mean, the first thought that I had when I saw that originally was, oh my God, I can't believe you're actually sending people to people's houses because of how docile most people are and how don't want confrontation most people are. So many people are going to have that encounter with somebody and then feel like they need to go get a vaccine, and that's just wrong. That's just weird. You know, I don't like that. But my thought was actually this. Here, I'll let you see it. This was my real thought. Can you see this on here yet? Screen?
No, I don't see it.
Chrome tab. Boom.
We are currently waiting for RossDuhBoss to pull up something from his computer.
Oh, yeah, everybody. Oh,
there it
I
is.
forgot. Everybody
There it
can't
is.
see it. Okay, can you see this?
I can see it. We got Psaki door-to-door outreach. If you're
Okay.
watching this on YouTube or Rumble, you see this.
Okay, if you're not, but here you go. It's just Saki saying it.
His team is focused on to get more Americans vaccinated. One, targeted community-by-community door-to-door outreach to get remaining Americans vaccinated by ensuring they have the information they need on how both safe and accessible the vaccine is.
Well, hi, guys. I can't tell you how excited I am to have somebody that I can personally hold responsible to answer my questions that the internet bans me for asking. Come on in. I've got some tea. My name's Ross, by the way. So I can't.
Are you gonna have your tinfoil hat on when they come to your door?
I don't know, bro. I just thought it was hilarious to be like, oh, you're sending representatives to tell me to get vaccinated, and you're not allowed to block me for asking questions because the internet only lets me ask like the approved set of questions. I'm not allowed to ask, why have you not mentioned ivermectin when hundreds of, thousands of doctors are saying this is saving lives? You don't seem to be interested in that. Also, so I mean, I can't wait for that, but I'm also kind of surprised how quickly it happened because it seems like there should have been a process where they were like, no, let's not go door to door and do that. But like they skipped over the process and just did it anyway. And it's like, whoa.
This is what they did in China. This is what Hitler did. They literally started sending the government. I mean, this is crazy to think that they are starting to create this medical segregation. Like you are now a second-class citizen for not taking a vaccine for a virus that has a 99.98% survival rate.
Right.
If we think this is normal, then we have lost the sense of what normal is.
Yeah.
And we need to rewind and get back to the old normal, because this is not normal that the government would send people to your house to make sure you have a vaccine. And then what happened this week? Michigan boy dies in his sleep 3 days after the vaccine. The New York Post posted this on July 5th at 2:45 in the morning.
And that's not including all of the ones that aren't even posted about. That you can go to the Reddit thread about the COVID injuries. You can go to the nurse Erin thing where she's got 100,000 people that have messaged her that here's what happened the day after. Here's what happened. Here's what happened. And then when you go to VAERS, the vaccine adverse reaction reporting system that they're supposed to be, the government website, you can see that there is more reactions from this than anything else in the history. And so the interesting part is that VAERS only collects 1% of the data anyway. So it's like God knows how bad it really is. But yeah, dude, how nuts are you to come and tell my kids that they're supposed to have this thing? And there's not even, dude, it's like we're in clown world. This is entirely insane. You're right. This is nuts. Like, I can't believe people are coming to people's houses to determine if you've had the vaccine. What they're really doing, it's not about safety. It's about compliance. They want to make sure that more people feel compliance, because you're safe from COVID mostly. Like, it's compared to like 100 other things that you share the risk of every day. You're safe from COVID. Like compared to other things.
Compared to being on the 0.001% side. I mean, we're talking a 99. I don't care. I understand. Like, you got to be sensitive to people that pass away, but in the big picture, we're talking a 99.98% chance. And we've heard what Nurse Aaron talked about, how they literally assigned deaths to someone that did not die from COVID, but they labeled it COVID anyways because they got money. Clay Clark talked about on the interview how the entire PCS, whatever the name of the test are. PCR tests are completely skewed, and they're highly inflated because they want to inflate the numbers. Why? Because they want to instill fear, because if there's fear in the people, then they can control them. And that's what this is about. So, I mean, if you're listening, you are not crazy. You are normal. You are you are literally normal. And this is why we didn't take the donuts. This is why we didn't take the free beer, or we took the free cheeseburger, or the free French fries, or the lottery tickets, or the marijuana blunt that Oregon and Washington did, or the vacations from Gavin Newsom.
Exactly. This is why, because we don't comply. I don't comply with you, government. I don't trust you to determine chemicals that go into my bloodstream. I don't trust you to be able to tell me that I have to do it, because it has been proven throughout history that governments kill more people than every other force of humans in the world. There's no comparison, and I'm not going to submit myself or my family to what the whimsical goal of the WHO and the CDC and the vaccine manufacturers. Hell no. Medical malpractice is the third leading cause of death in the United States. And so what do? You sign the whole entire population up to be completely subjected to those same entities' plans for you and your bloodstream? No, thank you. That's a violation of medical freedom, and it should be a violation of medical freedom. That's wrong. I wouldn't tell that to my worst enemy, for you to have to be Britney Spears, like, they want her to be able to, like, the people that are like, free Britney, are like, she deserves to make her own, her own health decisions and have freedom and spend her money how she wants. That's what we're saying. We're saying the same thing. People don't realize they're walking into a trap, and they're getting mad at the sheep around them that are going, guys, stop walking toward the cliff. They're like, you idiot, there is no cliff. Yeah, people magically just became nicer in the last 10 years than they ever were in human history, you dummies.
The same government they've been protesting and saying that is not – is not just and not equal. The same government that they've been protesting for the last 5 years, now they're just blindly complying to, and it's just absolutely crazy. Like you said, it is clown world. The question is, what is next? Which I think we know what is next. I mean, they first said,
we know what's
oh my
next.
gosh, we just got to slow the spread, flatten the curve. all right, now we just got to wait till we get a vaccine. We got a vaccine. Now we have to make sure every single person on planet Earth is vaccinated. Well, what is next?
Yeah, emergency is trumping logic right now. And so they're writing the blank check of emergency of some sort to milk federal funds from the federal government for the individual cities and states that are lying about the real emergency. Like New York, a gun emergency. A gun emergency. Well, you can do a lot more in an emergency than you could before. So they're going to switch it to climate emergency before too long. And God knows what like you said, remember the people falling down in China in the videos? That's obviously not real. They're going to do the same thing for climate. Look at all these chickens that used to survive in South Africa, and now they're all dead because of climate change. We better do something or it's coming here. Here's the new lockdown. We all know that's where it's headed. And they're at the same time, we've got the election fraud that's being exposed. So it's like, I think it's going to be a climax of you shouldn't be in power mixed with you're destroying everything with your power. Oh my God, you planned it. You usurped the throne at the last second so that you could annihilate the plan that you had or whatever. I think it's something like that.
And I like that you brought up climate change because I'm going to play a clip, and this has to do more with climate, where the co-founder of the Weather Channel was on CNN. All right, I'm going to play this clip real quick.
I remember this.
And there's a reason why we're going to apply this to COVID. Listen to this real quick.
Now, will it come through? Will it play?
Yeah.
What I do wonder is when you see the government, when you see NASA, when you see other institutions say that 97% of climate scientists agree, do you think they're making it up? What I don't understand is how you square that.
Well, that's a manipulated figure, and let me explain it to you. The government puts out about $2.5 billion directly for climate research every year. It only gives that money to scientists who will produce scientific results that support the global warming hypothesis of the Democrat Party position. So they don't have any choice.
Yep.
If you're going to get the money, you got to support their position. Therefore, 97% of the scientific reports published support global warming. Why? Because
boom.
Wait,
right there.
why? Hit play. Is there the rest of that?
What I do wonder is when you see
that was the end. It just reset.
Yeah. But
where the money is.
Okay, so what he's saying is, CNN, Brian Stelter's like 97% of the science community. Oh my gosh, shut up.
And that's where the money is.
What's doing this? Okay, so my computer is being slow. So Brian Stelter's like 97% of the science community is saying that climate change is real. Why are you going against them? And he's saying, well, because the government only has millions of dollars of grant money that they give to these communities, but they only pick doctors that will say what they want to say because they're going to get paid for doing it. So that this is why, and you can apply the exact same thing to COVID, because we're the party of science, we're the party of data. The COVID says this, and this is how many tests came back, and blah 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 blah. Yeah, because the government is giving payouts for millions and millions of dollars to hospitals, doctors, scientists to say and do what the government wants to hear, because they know if they don't, they will not get paid. This is how they control the narrative, and the media follows along.
Right. Yeah, and you can see they're doing the same thing. Like you said, with COVID, they're doing the same thing with climate change, and it's just a big circle jerk where they all just kind of go, you be the head of this EPA, you be the head of the thingy, you be the head of the corporation, I'll be the politician who you guys paid for my campaign to get elected, and you put $500,000 into my campaign when my competitor had $6,000 of a campaign. And so, of course, I got elected. And then when it's time to do the thing on the thing, I help you with the thing. And then, I wrote a book and you bought 1 million copies of it. This works great,
Literally.
And it's just nonstop, man. And it's like, if we don't let debate come back to the United States, if this censorship thing keeps going the way that it is, we deserve what comes.
Right.
The people that are destroying the country, they think they're doing the right thing because, like you said, they're the party of science and data. That's what they say. But then when you look at the data of black on black crime, if you look at the data of homicide rates, if you look at the data of how many people are killed by assault rifles per year versus handguns, they're not the party of data. They don't want the data.
100%. And what they're doing, what they are beginning to do, and like what you're saying in New York, they are beginning to use the failures of their own party, the left. They are beginning to use the failures of their own party to use it as a weapon to control the rest of the nation. And that's literally what's happening here. New York's having a crazy surge in crime. Chicago's having a crazy surge of crime. Climate change and COVID and businesses are shutting down, and there's a financial crisis and inflation and gun violence, and all of this is going on in these Democratic run cities, and the failures of these own Democratic policies, now they're turning it around, and Cuomo's like, oh my gosh, we really need to figure out this gun violence problem, so we really need to start banning guns in New York. No, Cuomo. The reason why you have gun violence is because you defunded the damn police. The reason why you're having issues with crime is because you are releasing every person that you arrest when they looted your entire damn city.
Yes.
That's what's happening.
Yes. Yeah, it's and it's amazing. It really is. Like, if you were an alien and you were just watching this play out, and the Democrats were one side and conservatives were the others. I notice I'm not saying Republicans, because there's some Republicans that are crooked, right? But if you have conservatives and then you've got the other side, it is literally as if if you were a grown up and you walked into the house and you said, "Hey, there's some broken plates on the ground, guys. Tell me what happened." And then the Republican goes, "Dude, look, she was down there and she was sweeping and she knocked it out and broke it." And then the other girl goes, "Oh my God, you bald-faced liar.
Right.
He punched me in the face. It did the thing, and you need to make sure that we, whatever." It is a full-blown lie. And then you go and review the video, and the girl who's the Democrat is literally punching herself in the face with her own hand. And then you come in the room and go, "What happened?" And she goes, "He destroyed me. And it did this." That is the level of lying that is happening right now. There is deception everywhere, all of the time, every damn headline, every damn news article, every damn reporter, every damn data point, every damn scientific study about COVID, all of them. They're so far off of what me and you would consider to be a true analysis of events or regular people. They don't pass the sniff test at all anywhere, man. Yep. And it's so frustrating because everybody on the other side just thinks they keep getting more and more confirmation of what they've been told because they keep stacking up, but they never go back to see what happens to those reports, those studies, those whatever 9 months later. They never look back and see, oh, the Lancet was completely wrong about the threat of COVID in the way that they placed it originally. They never talk about how they were wrong that hydroxychloroquine and ivermectin were helping people, and you all caused more deaths because you hindered the drug from being able to be used. You murderers.
Yep, literally. No, you're completely right. And mark my words, this is where it goes next, because we already saw it in Oregon and we already saw it in California back in early 2020 or summer of 2020 when they put the lockdown. You couldn't go anywhere. You couldn't go to the beach. I mean, this is why I left California and moved to Florida. And I will never forget the mayor of Los Angeles says, if someone has more than 3 people in their house, you need neighbors, LA residents, you snitch on them and you call the police and you snitch on them and we will go and arrest them or we will force them out. If they do not come out, we will turn off their power. This is what is next because there is no government big enough to watch the entire country. There's no government or institution that you can place and put departments in every single county to make sure that everyone's vaccinated or everyone is whatever they want us to do to comply. What's going to happen next, and I'm going to play this clip from the governor of Oregon. This is what's going to happen next.
Look, this is no different than what happens if there's a party down the street and it's keeping everyone away. What do neighbors do? They call law enforcement because it's too noisy. This is just like that. It's like a violation of a noise ordinance.
That could be a yes.
Yes. But honestly, they shouldn't have to.
This is what we're talking. Like the governor of Oregon, like
saying what? What is she saying?
She is saying that she is going to start encouraging neighbors to snitch on other people
for what?
that do not uphold the mandates, whether it comes to vaccination or mask, or if a Delta strain happens. This is what they are now. This was like 4 or 5 months ago, back when everything was still in semi-lockdown mode. But she was encouraging her own residents to snitch on other people that are not upholding. And the point is, this is where it's going to go. The whole point of this is
you have to
divide
recruit the citizens as an eyeball for yourself, or you can't make the transitions you need to create the climate for the transition you're trying to get.
Correct. And this is where it is going, people. Listen, I'm telling you, we are going to get to the day, and I would not be shocked if we're 6 months from then, where the Delta strand is going to, oh my gosh, inflated numbers,
or something.
Governments freak out, something happens. It
Some
might be 2
alarm,
years from now.
Whether it's climate, whether it's what, doesn't matter. Some alarm, and then some compliance, and then you're supposed to tattle on people that aren't doing the compliance, and there's ramifications if you don't. It is forced. That is what we're watching, and they're recruiting you to do it, and you don't even know it.
And they're doing this all over the world. America is actually behind. America,
right.
And thankfully, because there are a lot of patriots, they know that they will not be able to implement this in a full swing in the States. But this is New Zealand.
I think early next year we'll be in the phase of chasing up people who haven't come forward to get their vaccination or have missed their bookings and so on. So everyone will be able to get a vaccine between now and the end of the year. But of course, and I want every New Zealander to come forward, but human behaviour suggests that there will be some people that we have to actually really go out and look for, and some of them may spill into next year. But our commitment is everyone will have the opportunity to get the vaccine by the end of the year. Everyone will, but I can't say that, that we're not going to have some hesitant people or some people who just haven't come forward that we don't have to go out and find next year.
We have to go out and find next year. This is happening all over the planet right now.
Yeah, it is. You're right.
America is lagging behind, thankfully, because they know what the response that
they know what would happen if they tried to pull that shit right now. There's 350 million firearms that are ready to go get the hell out of my street trying to mandate people. But guys, think of this for a second. Whether you trust the government or not, if they decided right now and you didn't have guns that they wanted to come mandate you all to get it, the other weak-willed part of the population would let them do it.
Yep.
And you would submit to it, and it would just be easier. And then what happens after that? Whatever the hell they want. If they can mandate you like this about this, they can mandate you about anything. And guess what? If you spoke out against it, they would ban your speech. So you might try to get a group of people that would be somewhat resistant to this idea. But then they would cancel you online like they already do, and you would get 2% of the actual impact that you would normally make, which you aren't even getting. And you would be stifled, and you would have no option to herd people around each other to resist a tyrannical potential government. Do you understand that people that want guns to go away in this country are trying to defang the last cat that exists in the wild?
Yep, you're right.
That keeps everybody honest. Regardless of whether or not you think the United States has been honest with their power, I agree with you. There has been corruption. The CIA, Syria, Libya, all these different places, we have messed around in other places. But that still does not diminish the fact that we have good foundations in this country about the freedom for people, specifically against tyranny. And I don't care if you're black, white, orange, or green. That is a valuable component no matter what you feel about our history.
Pfizer received the biggest fine in United States history back in 2009. It was $2.3 billion. Do you know what this was for?
What?
For bribing doctors and suppressing adverse trial results. This is the company. I found this 2 days ago. Dr. Christopher Powell tweeted this. He's a big doctor on Twitter. And he tweeted out that back in 2009, the biggest fine in U.S. history was credited to Pfizer for bribing doctors and suppressing the trial results, the negative, bad and this is one of the 3 companies that's distributing 33% of all the vaccines in our dang country.
Yeah, that's insane, bro. Send me that link real quick. I'm going to make a video about that right after this. Just make a joke out of it.
This is what – and the government knows this. The government knows that they gave the biggest fine in American history to the company that they are pumping and saying – everything is normal. We trust these.
Everything's normal. And if you have vaccine hesitancy, you're a conspiracy theorist. When the same damn car maker got fined for not making safe cars. You know, that's the same exact thing. Like, I'm trying to put in an analogy, but it's like, dude, it's the same thing. And you're nuts to think that you should wait. You're evil. You're not nuts. You're evil. You're selfish. You're not part of the herd. You're not willing to do what everybody else is willing to do, to sacrifice for each other. If you won't just bend over and take it. No, you dummies. None of us should have to bend over and take it. We should all wait.
13-year-old boy, Michigan boy, died in his sleep 3 days after receiving the coronavirus vaccine in June. And the Centers for Disease Control has opened up an investigation into the death. They haven't labeled it a vaccine death, obviously. But his aunt said he passed away in the middle of the night. She woke up in the morning, and now the CDC hasn't opened up an investigation. But they want to go door to door to tell us to take something that just killed a 100% healthy 13-year-old boy that had no pre-existing conditions. F off, government. Right. F off.
Yeah, you're allowed to be alarmed about things. Whether we can prove that it was the vaccine or not right now is irrelevant. You should be able to look at something like that happening and go, I'd like to wait on that. And for your job not to be able to fire you because of that appropriate amount of hesitancy. It is insane that people think that they should just bow down to it regardless of what we're hearing. Well, the percentages of that happening are so low. Listen, bastard, I should be allowed to make any decision about if the percentage of chance of me dying is 0.000000001%. I should be allowed to say yay or nay with whether I participate in that particular thing. And you don't get to tell me otherwise.
Even if it was a 90% chance that you would die from COVID, like, your choice. Like, this is what America is. Like, the government should not have the power or control to show up at your door to make sure you took a vaccine.
Yeah, and I don't know what they mean by that. Do they mean they're going to come by and be like, hey, we'd encourage you and give you all the information that you need? Or is it more like
they're building the list?
Well, for sure, they're building a list. That's just stupid if they didn't build a list. For anybody who's wondering, it's stupid if you do governmental work and don't have a list. There's always a list. So please don't pretend like we're outlandish for suggesting that there's a damn list. There is a list. There will be a list. There will be a scale on that list about what kind of resistance they had to the ideas or whatever.
Oh, and that's the one reason why a lot of people are hestant. You know, they were hesitant to get on Parler. They were hesitant to get on Getter because, you know, they say there's this list. And again, I mean, we're on it. Listen, if you posted anything conservative on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, don't bring up the list about Getter or Parler or whatever, or any other social media, because you've been on the dang list. If you're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, any other social media, you're on the list. So,
yeah, and honestly, if you're in Joe Biden's version of the NSA, every text message you've sent is on the list. And guess what? If you dislike Trump, well, then you know what? If you want to play that game, well, then every text message you sent while he was in office is on that list.
And Tucker Carlson is the perfect
example
of
that. Tucker Carlson, and they mocked him. And then one day later, Sweet Justice shows up and goes, oh, he was damn well right.
Exactly.
God, it's happening so much faster. It used to take 6 months to like a year to prove something true. And then it was like 3 months for COVID. You'd find out that hydroxychloroquine actually worked. But it's becoming to the point where it's like, we can prove your bullshit so quickly because their lies are getting worse.
I mean, but think about this. And this is like, you know, there's all the Q stuff, awakening, whatever. But to a point, We have seen an awakening in this country over the last 4 years like we have never seen in the history of our nation.
Sure.
History. I mean, the fact that we don't that more than half this nation does not trust the media. Huge. Absolutely huge. They don't trust any past president, from Bush, starting with Clinton. I mean, dude, I remember I was like, I love Bush. Bush is amazing. I mean, now people that Obama, they voted for Trump. A lot of people that voted for Obama. I mean, we have a huge awakening. We are awakened to what's going on at the border, the media, the big tech gods and lords. The people have awakened to their sleep. And yes, there is still a lot of people in this nation sleeping, but there is enough. I believe there is enough awake that I don't really actually feel like this country could ever go into a full-on communist regime, because there would just be way too much resistance.
Oh, yeah, way too much. But then again, fast forward with drones and different technology with the mosquitoes and everything that they're releasing that are bioengineered, and you kind of never know what can happen somewhere if there isn't a stop put to it, which is why everybody is still hopeful that Trump will do something. It's not even about Trump, guys. It's not
Conspiracy theorist.
It's not
Conspiracy theorist.
It's not about Trump, man. It's just going, we would like to have a little more transparency from all these massive corporations and, that are government funded. Like, dude, guys, listen, Lockheed Martin, all these big boy names that made billions and billions of dollars during the Bush wars and all that. Like when Bush made a decision, it didn't just go to a random person to make a bunch of money. You have to remember there's people that are wanting these things to occur to generate a funneled customer base that is, consistent. And so it's not wild to think that people who are rich want to become more rich. And the best way to become rich is to control people. Think about this in a really simple way. Your phone, when there's a new phone that comes out, your phone gets a little bit shitty, right? Everybody notices this. Everybody talks about it. It's like a funny joke on the inside when you're a phone owner. Whenever there's a new phone that comes out, your service all of a sudden on your phone just doesn't work as good as it used to. That is them controlling you 4%, right? Maybe 12%, depending on how elaborate that is. It's something that they can technically get away with however they do it, but they do kind of find a way to do it. And so it's like they create a victim out of you that has more than a need. It's an urgent need, right? So you have to think, if they're doing it on such a large scale with something so stupid as that, certainly there is somebody that may be more rich and more evil than that controls the medical industry and certain medications and keeping you as a customer.
I completely agree. It's well said. Let's transition from here. We've hit on COVID. Well, speaking of conspiracies, I mean, I wouldn't say this is a conspiracy, but it's easily the Clinton body count. Is it odd that both the president of Haiti and I can never say this, Tanzania, thank you, my horrible vocabulary, who were the two presidents that were against the hype of the COVID-19 and the vaccines, they're both dead.
Yeah, both. Of course, it's weird. Died. Remember when the Tanzanian president didn't trust the tests, so he made people run tests on a jackfruit and a goat, and they sent it in, and they both tested positive for COVID. Bro, that guy deserves an award for just trolling everybody in that and going, really? I think they
killed him.
Yeah, and potentially that's the people that killed him. I'm surprised that Trump is still alive, to be honest. If I was the other side, I'd be like, can we just take care of this?
Yeah. No, it's wild. Well, the president of Haiti, who is planning on releasing a ton of documents on the Hillary Clinton Foundation and the trafficking that is going on there.
He was going to release stuff on that?
Yeah.
When?
This week, and he died the day before.
Did he tell me about that? What did he say?
I was reading an article that he says that he planned to release documents and expose the corruption of the Clinton Foundation and what they orchestrated in his own country.
Are you sure that he said that?
No, positive. I read an article on it. I'll find this.
Yeah, find that.
Had it up, but
I mean, dude, come on, you like how big is the body Clinton count or the Clinton body count at this point? Like we had how many hundreds? You know, who knows?
I mean, you had armed bodyguards go and somehow get into his house in the middle of the night, the president's house, and kill him. I mean, dude, again, there's no conspiracies, but there are no coincidences. And this is one man that did not like the Clinton Foundation. I mean, there's how many bodies does it take where it's like, okay, it's not a conspiracy anymore? I mean, how many bodies does it take? We had last month, or was it, 4 to 6 weeks ago, we had the reporter from Texas. He's the one that broke the story on the tarmac, and he committed suicide with a beautiful family of three kids. I mean, come on, man. This is just it is insane. Let's talk real quick. Let's get an update on the election.
I didn't know that about the Haitian guy yet. I hadn't looked into that story yet. But now that you're telling me that he was saying that he was going to release stuff on that on the Clintons and what happened in his country, that's.
The thing is, these guys need to be smarter. They just need to release it.
Yeah, why in the world would you? Well, actually, unless you were trying to catch him, maybe the guy's not dead, like John McAfee or whatever. Yeah. Maybe John McAfee's not dead. Who knows, dude? I'm not trying to. That's just all. But like, listen, I mean, like, we're at this stage now where everything that we thought was a conspiracy is kind of becoming like realistic. Well, so it's hard for me to think that maybe they wouldn't fake their own death or something. Maybe they would. Who knows?
I mean. They said that, we see COVID was a conspiracy, and it's just. It
was interesting. I watched that new movie with Chris Pratt on Amazon Prime. It's called Tomorrow War, I think is what it's called. And it's a 30-year leap into the future. And they're at the point where they're all being told that they have to come together as a human race and defeat aliens together, but there's massive governmental overreach to help defeat this global enemy, right? So, like, how do you convince the whole entire world that they better listen to what you're saying? There's an alien threat that's outside of us that you better submit. This isn't even a national thing, and it was just interesting to watch the government completely bulldog.
Well, Hollywood always
precursors. Yeah, yes. They always point at where it's going.
Yep,
that's what I'm saying. So I'm like, what are they going to try to pull on us about this in the future? You better comply. It's like, nah, sorry, you don't get to tell me there's some weird UFO alien threat when you're the only person with that information, and then I can't even look into the information. Sorry, dog.
Yep. No, you're right.
I'm just trying to get ahead of the ball here.
No, it's true.
In 6 weeks, if they're like, we're doing this because the aliens told us, I'm going to be like, bullshit. I want to talk to them.
Right. No, I would encourage everyone, if you want to be ahead of the ball, like, watch War Room. If you watch War Room, you're going to know the news cycle 2 weeks from now. If you don't have time, and we get a lot of our stuff from War Room as well. I mean, every morning, 10 a.m., and then also they have 1 hour at, I believe, 5 p.m. War Room is such a great podcast / show. You can listen to it. I mean, you listen to War Room, you know the news cycle 2 weeks from now because their team is on it. So let's talk about the audits and the election real quick, and then we'll wrap this thing up because we are already reaching almost 40 minutes. So Pennsylvania looks like it is about to officially initiate a full forensic audit.
Yep. Statewide too, not county.
Statewide. Senator Mastriano has the votes on the Senate committee to issue the subpoenas if Pennsylvania does not comply. Now, I do believe it's actually for three. One is York, one is Philadelphia, and another district, but it's the main ones. And I'm telling you, watch Pennsylvania. And I was listening to War Room this morning when it comes to Arizona.
Wait, so let me chime in. So we've been saying watch Arizona, everybody, for like 2 months. That doesn't mean we were wrong about Arizona. It's still in process and is gaining steam. And so it's only been getting more and more intense with them, with Georgia, with Fulton County, and now with a new one, Pennsylvania.
Exactly. And the reason why we're saying watch is because They finished the audit, maybe 3 weeks ago. Then they had the canvas. They went door to door. Now what they're doing as of today is they're quadruple rechecking it again. So they're going through a quadruple check now, and they're recounting all the ballots again in a different – so they're doing this all over again. But this is the thing, and this is where it's just crazy. Maricopa County still has not given the passwords or the routers up to the Dominion machines to the auditors. So we're talking just like right now. We're just that what they are going to confirm is if the actual paper mail-in ballots, but they didn't even get to the machine. And the reason why is because Maricopa County does not want to give the passwords, the master passwords, to the Dominion machines. I mean, my goodness, can you not be more clear? Like, if someone does not want to give it up, they're hiding something. And the reason why is because I do believe that Republicans and Democrats, including Governor Ducey of Arizona, was in on it. He was completely in on it, and that's why they do not want to give the keys to the trunk. That is basically
what happens, man, if people find this stuff out and find out that there was a rigged election, dude. What happens in the streets if justice isn't done in the actual presidential seat and stuff like that? If it really happens, what happens in the streets if they don't allow for Trump to go back in if he rightfully won and we can prove it?
Yeah, well, it's going to have to happen legally, which there's 3 senators in Arizona that are already saying, hey, if this report comes out, we are going to call for the decertification of those votes. Now, of the delegates. Now, that doesn't mean that they would automatically go to Trump, but they would be taken away from Biden. And if that happens in Georgia, Pennsylvania, and Arizona, those 3 states, Biden is under 270.
And Trump is at 270.
Well, if
they can give them to Trump.
If they would give them. And so I think we could see something happen, whether it's at the Supreme Court level or the military would have to take in. Again, this is far-fetched. I believe, people are giving dates of August. Anyone that gives a date, and I love Mike Lindell. I love the man. I love what he's doing. I love his work.
Right, but when dates are just not wise, man.
Yeah, it's
a recipe for disappointment.
Yes, 100%. And it's also a complete underestimation of the deep state if you are giving out dates like you.
Yeah, if you're the deep state and what we believe is actually true and they've able to conquer the whole world in this particular way to change the infrastructure of how humanity interacts for their own safety with the government, they're not going to be like, oh, no, these 3 audits are going to stop our whole plan. No. There's 74 more options that they have to put into play, and God knows what the next 3.5 years is going to damn well look like.
Guys, think about it. We're 6 months into when Biden took office. We have a forensic audit happening in Georgia, Pennsylvania now, and Arizona is finishing up. Guys, this is progress, let alone all the election integrity bills that have been passing all over the country. And so, to say that there has not been good progress is not fully true. I do believe that what is happening now, and then you have Trump now taking the big stance against big tech. He's pushing back. He's suing them with a full-on class action lawsuit, which is awesome that I will be joining.
Yep.
We're doing it.
It's awesome. I'm nervous about that because the Obama appointee judge is the one who got it.
But then I believe they'll appeal it to the Supreme Court. They'll just appeal it, just kind of how it always does. They just keep going. The Supreme Court would have to take it.
I know. I'm just nervous about the Supreme Court for obvious reasons.
It will put them in a tough situation, but it is very rare that the Supreme Court would go against free speech. I just don't. But then again, you're right. It is tough to trust those.
It's tough to trust anybody, man. It feels like everybody's bought. It's so hard to be like. And guys, here's the thing. This is where all these ideas come from, okay? If you and me, Jordan, did not know anything about anything and were just dropped onto a planet called Yamshu, me and you would be like, what the hell are we doing here? And then I would be like, okay, I guess I need to eat something, so I should look for food. So you start looking for food. So you have a right to survive, okay? And then you're like, well, I want to organize this a little bit. And, man, there's a huge bear over there. I don't want to get eaten by it. So I better make some defense mechanism for myself. This stick, let's sharpen this stick. And then you learn about fire, and then you learn about this. You're like, I want to have a gun to defend myself. And then you've got you see a crazy, situation like I have a right to defend myself from crazy things, and then Jordan sees me one day out in the wild, and I've got this stick that shoots lead out of it, and he goes, "Well, what the hell? I don't want my family to get hurt from this dude, so I should have a stick that shoots shit out of it." That's just these things we're talking about, and the freedom that you're entitled to as a human being is what the beginning of the Declaration of Independence about. And that is their inalienable rights that were bestowed upon you by your creator that seem to be self-evident, that you should be able to decide your own health. You should be able to decide how to protect yourself. You should be able to decide what information you are exposed to. So X, Y, and Z. So that is what we're saying when we're saying these things are a violation of freedom. That's what we're talking about. It's not some bullshit that America came up with. It's some bullshit that American founders said was self-evident if you think long enough. John Locke, all these people, Thomas Paine, they created these ideas and helped us put words to them that we all believe intrinsically exist. So that's what we're talking about when we talk about these freedoms that are being infringed upon. And it is everywhere, guys. It is everywhere. And Jordan, I don't really know where this is headed, man. It's good to have company on the ride, meaning you.
Yeah.
It's good to have company on the ride where we're going. We need freedom, and even if
I will say this though. I was at the Trump rally this past weekend, and my goodness, I mean, this is the third rally I've been to. The people there talk about wokeness. I mean, they're pissed. They're angry. They're not complying. Every person I talked to, they laughed when I asked if they took the vaccine. I mean, these are non-complying people, and the movement is just not dead. It will never die. What has happened there really is an awakening happening, and I do believe that there is a spiritual component that's going to happen. Where I do believe that there will be a move of God in a new, fresh way that will be undeniable and cannot be refuted. And I actually think that is going to be the key to getting to the truth and the healing back of this nation.
Once you've seen the dark, you want the light.
Yep, exactly.
And so even if you are a normal person who's like, I don't give a crap about faith or God or anything like that, even if you're a normal person, when you get in touch with really deep darkness and really evil stuff, your natural reaction is to reach for not that, is to go the complete opposite. And the complete opposite, everybody damn well knows, is something holy. Whether you know who that entity is or not, you're trying to think of something holy. And the something holy that me and Jordan believe that it is Jesus. It's Jesus, Doc.
He's the best person that ever walked the planet, hands down. All right, real quick, we're going to get into this we're going to do a little something fun here in a second. Before we get to it, real quick, speaktruthwithoutfear.com. Go there, speaktruthwithoutfear.com.
You sound like a radio host loser.
Put in your email, because if big tech deplatforms us, we want to stay in touch with you.
And they're coming every day, folks. They're banging on our doors. They're trying to figure out exactly how to get to the bottom of us. But here we are waiting for you. We're trying to be the mouthpiece for you, the American people. And we're running down our ammo. We don't have much ammo, but we're fighting on the line and we're holding it down because truth is worth fighting for. And we just need a couple dollars to keep going, ladies and gentlemen. The lights are flickering above my head, but I won't give out. The dust is coming down, but my helmet's on and my mind is set. We will resist till the end, but only if you can help. For $5 measly at the present moment, you, sir, are able to absolutely fund the campaign for freedom across the entire face of the globe.
Oh my gosh, you didn't even breathe. Well done. It was like an Alex Jones ad meets like some churchy politician. Anyways, speaktruthwithoutfear.com. Put in your email. The other thing, I want to say thank you to every single person that gave to the Cusick family fundraiser.
Yeah, that was awesome.
$102,000.
We raised $102,000 in what, a week?
10
6
days.
days.
10 days total.
10 days total. I thought
absolutely
it was 6 days.
Wild. If you guys, for those that are just listening that don't know, Cusick family, the father and the son, they were arrested. They didn't commit any violence, no vandalism, no nothing. They went to they asked the police if they could go to the bathroom. They walked out. We're in and out in 7 minutes.
In the Capitol.
in the Capitol, and completely, it's just absolutely insane. But thank you to everyone's generosity. And then also, last thing, we have a support tab on our website. Click that support tab. We have 3 new packages that you can, if you want to be a part and get more exclusive content. It's one way we can give more value back to you. And then it's also a way that you can support our work. But yeah, we haven't announced this yet, but we are going to soon. And the last announcement before we get to this final segment is make sure, if you're listening on Apple iOS podcasts, make sure you leave a review. Give us that 5-star if you like the podcast, and give us a nice review, because that does help us a lot with the algorithm. All right, Ross, we're going to play a little game. You got to choose. All right, you got to choose one. You have to choose one. All right, AOC or Elizabeth Warren?
Choose them to go or choose them to stay?
Choose them to. If you had to make one of these 2 people president of the United States, AOC or Elizabeth Warren?
AOC.
Okay. Why AOC over Elizabeth Warren?
At least she's pretty.
That's fair. Okay. Nancy Pelosi or Chuck Schumer?
Nancy Pelosi.
Okay. All right. Hillary Clinton.
At least she's pretty.
At least she's pretty. Hillary Clinton or Kamala Harris? That one's tough for me, dude.
You know what? Let me say it like this. This is actually freaking funny.
So
this is funny. I think I would pick Hillary Clinton. Do you know why I would pick Hillary Clinton?
Why?
Because I feel like Kamala Harris doesn't, like, she's the nemesis who's the villain who didn't earn it. Hillary, if the world's going to go to shit because one of them is taking it, I at least want to go to the hell in a Cadillac where it's like, yo, the most badass Wicked Witch of the West showed up, dominated everything, and yo, it just happened the way the dragon wanted it to happen. Kamala, I would be like, she just made everything shittier. But Hillary, I feel like, would direct us right into the pit of hell. At least it'd be efficient.
Dude, that's just a great explanation. Okay, and last one. DeSantis or Trump?
I don't know if the shortcomings that Trump had were entirely possible for him to have avoided. So, I don't like that he did warp speed. I don't like that he rambles a little bit here and there. I think it makes him weak. It makes him look weak when he does like the kind of dumb ramblings.
Right.
If DeSantis did all the similar things and had Trump on as an advisor, like, I mean, as the advisor, like, I'm basically Trump Jr. right now, and he's telling me what to do, but I'm doing it so that nobody has to hate Trump and act like it's his ideas, because people will be able to see the ideas as actually valuable, because it won't come from the stigma of Trump's face saying it to the idiots who think that Trump should have a stigma. Then I think I might say Ron DeSantis should get in if that was the case. But I think Trump deserves to get back in and finish what he won, you know?
Yep.
So I'm Team Trump on this.
I am too. I am Team Trump. Last night on the Instagram Live, I asked the same question about DeSantis or Trump, and 2 of the guests, they both picked DeSantis. And and that's where there is regardless who runs, they're going to have the full support of the nation.
Right. So, but that already annihilates the idea that we're all just MAGA people. No, there's a conservative theme among all of us that it's not loyal to Trump.
Yep. But I will say, I mean, DeSantis is baby Trump. I mean, DeSantis is literally modern day Trump, just probably
mixed with Rand Paul.
Yes, mixed with the more Rand Paul.
If I could get a Ron DeSantis, Rand Paul presidency, I'd be really happy about that.
Yeah, I completely agree. I would love Rand Paul as the vice president.
Me too, man. I really appreciate. He's always honest.
Yep, he is the most. I believe he's the most honest politician we have actually in D.C. And he gets that from his dad. I mean, they've just always gone against the grain. So anyways, remember again, speaktruthwithoutfear.com, put in your email, leave a review, hit the support tab, and we will be back on Wednesday, and because it is Friday now, you're listening to this, so we'll be back on Wednesday. I hope you guys have an incredible weekend. We love you guys, and we will see you next week.